Let's talk women's hoops, Ramona.
Yeah.
I mean, UConn's doing it again. Geno's doing it again. They're undefeated. South Carolina looks awesome. UCLA just up the road. Corey Close has got them working. My Wolverines, I'm really excited about as well, not just about the men's side. And we're less than 2 months away from the WNBA draft. You know, March Madness is going to really put the women's game right there where it deserves again soon. What was the conversation over All-Star Weekend? Are we got a labor situation here? Are we going to have a season? What do we have here?
I think we all have had this idea that they are going to figure it out, you know, at the 11th hour or whenever they have to. Because right now, Rich, like, you know, deadlines create action, and there's nothing happening right now. Like, they're not, if they were to quote unquote strike, well, what are you striking? They're not missing any games. Like, the only thing a strike would do is like make it so they don't get their health benefits anymore. That doesn't do anything, right? There's no pain point or pressure point. The first thing I guess we've missed free agency. You know, I feel bad for Toronto and Portland. They don't even have players. They were supposed to have an expansion draft. They need to get some players on their team. Those are inconveniences that can be dealt with. But the only thing you really start to miss is when you get closer and closer to that draft in April. And so we're still a really long ways away from those pressure points. And I think the union knows that, the league knows that, and everybody understands, like, we're getting uncomfortable. Adam Silver used this term, the 11th hour. We're getting very uncomfortable right now because there's things that need to still happen, but we're not at a place where there can be real pain inflicted on either side by doing a strike or a lockout, et cetera. So I think we're getting closer from what I've heard in the background. The executive committee of the Players Association, they have now a new proposal from the league to review. I think they're working on submitting a counter proposal. From what I understand, there's some internal discussions within that committee and within the league. I know Nneka Ogwumike's been out at Athletes Unlimited. Breanna Stewart's down at Unrivaled. They're all talking all the time on Zoom calls, et cetera. But once we see whatever the Players Association sends back to the NBA, to the WNBA, which I expect any day now, then I'll have a better sense of how far apart those two sides really are, because they were talking, but they weren't exchanging proposals for about 6 weeks there, and I think that really slowed everything down.
All right, so I remember hosting an NFL draft during a lockout. That's when I lost most of my remaining follicles, Ramona, to be honest with you. So what's the pressure point? Is it, 'cause I'm looking at the schedule here. I mean, Fever at Liberty with a double header is April 25th. So training camps, what would it be?
Okay,
like,
so
when's midnight strike? When is it?
Like 80% of the league are free agents. Like, everyone timed their contracts. Everybody signed 1-year deals, and everyone timed their contracts to coincide with this new CBA. So literally, there's not even really any teams. There's only like 20% of the league that's under contract for next year. So the pressure point is, at some point, there has to be a reasonable time for free agency. At some point, the two expansion teams need to have an expansion draft. That's really the pressure point. And so I would say, I mean, we're in the middle of February now. It's got to happen sometime in March, because those two things really do need to happen. It's not just the draft and free agent. It's not just the draft and training camps. It's that nobody knows what team they're on right now.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be flippant, I don't mean to be flippant, but again, there's a golden goose that's getting more valuable here. And, and stars, I mean, Juju Watkins is going to be healthy. Like, this is rubber meeting the road here, and everybody can actually just, who's going to have everybody sit down and say, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, who are those principals? Ramona?
Yeah, I mean, I think to me, it's Nneka Ogwumike. She's been the head of the Players Association for a long time, and she's very well respected in the game and by the league office. And I think, she's been doing a lot of podcasts. She's been saying what she wants, but I think there might be a point when, Nneka gets in a room with either Kathy Engelbert or maybe even Adam Silver, and they hash things out or something to that effect, because she has a pretty clear idea of what the players are asking for that's not being met. And I feel like that at some point is probably going to be where we land. I know Breanna Stewart's been taking a very big leadership role recently as well. So I think somewhere between those two ladies, and Nafisa Collier would be also in that mix of like who could get something really across the finish line. But I think we're we're getting close here, Rich. I mean, I thought it was interesting the league put out a schedule, because one of the pressure points I had been hearing was literally arena dates. You know how this goes. Like, if you don't have your dates on the schedule, they give them away to some concert. They give them away to some circus that comes to town, or they give them away to anybody else who wants to use the arena. Arenas cannot have open dates. And if you want those open dates, you gotta lock those in. So the league went forward with the idea of let's do the schedule, even though we don't even know who's on what team. And I thought that was a blink, at least in my eyes, in terms of how the league is viewing this, because they understand we're not going to be able to have the games we want, to have the matchups we want. Our television partners need dates. Our arenas need dates. That was a blank on the league's part, just because I know that was a real pressure point for a lot of teams.
Well, I'd rather see locked-in dates than locked-out players, Ramona. Let's put it that way. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app, 12 to 3 Eastern.